Hi folks, today in the video we're going to show you how to take a plane that looks as awful as this and we're going to show you how we turn them into looking like this. So the first thing that we do is we strip off the handles, we pull the iron. I haven't done it on this one, but we pull the iron back on and cap iron out. I leave the frog in. Now we go over to the jointer because I'm looking for a nice flat true surface. The jointer is the only real thing that we can use because it's the only thing that we've got that has that. So what I'm doing now is I've got a bit of 120 grit sandpaper and I've cramped it to the table. So effectively what I'm doing is I'm surface grinding the plane, because even if this was a new plane, if you can see there, I've already done some of this, but if you can see, if that, I don't know if that's focusing or not, but you can see there's a high spot. All of these darker areas where it's rusty and dark, they're low spots. We need to get rid of them. We need to get rid of the high spots. We need to get it all flat. So what we're doing is we're just back and forth for hours until such times that we've done that enough that we've actually got a whole shiny surface there. Now that's the first step that we do, like surface grind the sole and surface grind the sides just by hand like that, and that brings the whole plane nice and flat and true. So one of the next stages that we do is pull the handles off and start to repair if they need to be repaired. Often the horn on the back of the handle here can be broken off. Another place that they're always broken is through there. They're actually literally snapped in half, but they're still intact. So you often have to glue them up. We often will have to scarf a new horn on because that horn's snapped off. So here's a plain handle that's had the horn scarfed onto it. So we don't have any rosewood here, so we just, you know, whatever. This one has a piece of, I believe it looks like danter. In this case, this is just a nice, well-conditioned rosewood handle that was on Dad's plane. I'm just going to put a fresh coat on this now because last time he used it had epoxy all over his hands and didn't bother to clean his hands up when he grabbed hold of his plane and got epoxy glue all over it. But anyway, so we used to have a jig that I can't find, so I'm just going to quickly make one up now. It's a very complicated jig, this one. It's just a dowel drilled into a bit of wood just to sit the handle on, and that one doesn't even fit. Just like that, so that we can polish it, sit it on there to dry, and you know, it doesn't get touched by anything. So when we're polishing our handles, we just use Danish oil. Polishes up very nicely. You can get a very high gloss with the Danish oil. Usually brush it on, but I can't find a little brush. So today I'm just going to rag it on, which is fine. Still works. But this will bring it back to a nice high gloss like it was before the glue got smeared all over it. So just put that in a dust-free place now for it to dry, and it'll look great. So this is what they look like, if you can see that. They come out really, really nice with a nice high gloss on them. So once we've taken the handles off and we've dealt with the polish and that sort of stuff, we actually, like, the handles are removed. I actually remove the frog out, and what I do then is I take the wire brush and I wire brush the whole inside of the sole, stripping off any worn Japan and trying to feather in where there's chips in the Japan and things like that. Once I get it to a level that I'm happy with, then I'll tape up with some masking tape very accurately around where the frog sits, any other places that I don't want to get paint on, and I actually use gloss black engine enamel and I respray the whole inside of the plane, so effectively redoing the Japan. I'm not sure how well you can see that one or not, but they really do come up really nicely when that's all done. Dad and I were pretty avid collectors of our tools, like using them like we do all the time, but we also used to like to collect our tools as well. But we're users, we don't like to collect and just have things in really poor condition sitting on the shelf. So we restore our stuff both in looks and in function so that they work well. So once we've repaired the handles, we've done the Japan, we get the frog back in place and we line it up correctly where it should be positioned, and then we move on to the iron, and I'll show you what we do with that. So a lot of the times when you buy planes from, you know, second hand, whether it be a market or whatever, this is what you will often find, if that'll focus. Can you see that? This is what you will often find that the iron and the back iron will look like. But even though this one's in significantly bad condition, it's more than likely isn't pitted yet, so it still could be saved. It's off a junky Australian Stanley plane that I've got, which are rubbish, so I'm not even bothering to worry about it. But what we do with them when they're like this is we take them over to the wet wheel and we actually grind them on the face of the chisel, face of the plane iron, on the edge of the grinding wheel to freshen up this part here of the iron. Because one thing that happens, whatever oil stone the iron has been used on, that's what it wears to. So if you buy a second-hand plane and you bring it home and you're trying to sharpen it, you may often find that you can't run the burr off, especially in certain places, because that iron has been worn to the shape of the original owner's oil stone. So flattening it on here gives you a nice new platform to work from, and once that's done, this is what we look like. So we've got a nice brand new edge there, and now I can go straight, once I've ground it on here and got a nice edge on it, I can go straight over to my stone, hone it up on my stone, and it should, by rights, sharpen perfectly on my stone. Now, the next part that we do is, you will often find that the back iron doesn't sit true. You probably can't see this on camera, but you will often find that there could be a gap in there, so the back iron is not sitting down flat and hard against the iron. So you'll get, when you're using the plane, you'll get chips running up underneath that, and it's just a mongrel and it won't work properly. So we will actually take a file, very carefully mind, you don't want to take too much off, a file, and redress the edge so that you can get it to sit nice and flat. Now all of these little things are all what my dad would call trade secrets, so you know, you're getting a bit of a lesson here that most people would never get. But these are the sort of things that you do in order to get a plane that should work well by all rights, but it's not. And you do all of these sort of things, put it all back in, adjust your frog right, get it all put back in, and it'll work very, very well, and it'll serve you for a long time. If you look after it, it'll continue to work very well for the rest of your life. So it doesn't matter what sort of plane it is that we cleaning up, it's pretty much the same process on all of them. So you can see the old spears here, beautiful and shiny, beautifully clean sole and sides, beautifully polished up handles. The little number 2 602 bedrock, same thing. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into what we do and how you can go about getting your planes working as good as they can possibly be, no matter the condition that you start. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.